Hi there Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to my Venus series. So in today's video we are going to be taking a look at the self-worth of Venus in Sagittarius, but this video can also strongly resonate if you have the sign of Sagittarius ruling your second house as well. Now, before we do get started, if you would like to know more information all about the Venus signs, the Venus houses, your Taurus house and the second house, and other things within the Taurus season or based upon that realm, then I have created a Taurus season / archetype ebook. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide a link to the ebook in the description box below so that you can pick up your copy today. So with all those introductions out of the way, Venus in Sagittarius / Sagittarius ruling the second house. Let's do this. Now, when it comes to the second house in astrology, well, the second house can provide us with an indication into how our identity and security is formed based upon the things that we attach ourselves to, whether that be money, materials, people, or our beliefs and so on. It's the second house that can be viewed as representing the time in our lives or the stage in our lives by which we begin to become more consciously aware of ourselves. And according to Howard Sass-Bertaz, from around 6 months old we start to recognize that we even have a body. But furthermore, there is research to suggest that we start to become more self-aware from around 18 months old. Therefore, it's from the second house that we start to build upon who we are based upon the material world and how we really reflect on the material world. So you could say that the products or the items or the objects that you possess or own, they're like a reflection of yourself because they reflect things about you, such as your style, your likes, your tastes, your dislikes, all these very Phoenician types of things. But they can also reflect your financial situation as well, and also they can reflect your types of skills and talents. So for example, if you go to buy a $10 or $20 pair of shoes in comparison to a $50 or $100 pair of shoes, then that's going to reflect perhaps how much money you are indeed making. And then also when it comes to the skills and the talents, well, you're going to have to be skilled within the particular job by which you are earning money. It's ultimately from the second house that we form our sense of self-worth or value. So what do you value? Who do you value? Do you value yourself and others? And what do you base your self-worth upon, and why? So essentially this is about you going outside of yourself in order to discover what is located within yourself. So for those of you who have your Venus in Sagittarius, or for those of you who have Sagittarius ruling your second house, by which I'm going to address yourselves as Sagittarius throughout this video, well, we noticed that the material world was either provided for abundantly, where there was plenty of financial and physical security to go around, or it was that you sought after expanding upon your physical security, expanding upon the material world. You might have actually been that type of child or toddler who would grab out for certain objects, such as your pacifier, any toys, your teddy, any blankets, things like that. You might have even been that type of baby or toddler or child who would grab at other people's clothes. Maybe you would notice that even another child would have a particular object that you did not have, and so you maybe grabbed out for that object, or you wanted or you longed for that object. Or it might have been that you were the type of baby or toddler or child who would just eat everything in sight. So basically what Sagittarius, this influence here, is doing is it's just expanding upon endlessly when it comes to the materials, when it comes to certain substances, when it comes to objects. So food can of course fall under this umbrella, where food is a part of our, it's to do with our appetite, it's to do with our desires, it's to do with us surviving. Food of course is a material thing. And so when it comes to food, you might have this huge appetite, right? You could be that type of person, especially if you have Sagittarius ruling your second house. You might just have this appetite that's almost just endless. Or if you've went a long time without eating food, you might get a little bit grumpy, you might get a little bit snappy at other people until you're fed. Or maybe it's that you were just encouraged when you were younger to eat plenty, just to eat plenty of food, to continuously just, you know, this is the food that we're making for you, you better eat it all, you must eat all your food, Sagittarius. So still, even if it was that you felt like there was not enough food to go around in that way, maybe it's that you then have this more sort of searching desire to accumulate financial wealth or stability in order to then be really well off later in life, to want to accumulate plenty of materials for yourself, you want to accumulate much financial success for yourself. You know, you might have been that type of child or toddler who would just collect loads of different material goods and items that at the very time, so during that time, they were just so meaningful to you. They had a lot of meaning to you, and so perhaps even now, till this day, you have the tendency of satisfying your endless appetites, okay, when it comes to the material world overall. Maybe you're just continuously on the search for more material items and more wealth, Sagittarius. And even if you have a difficult aspected Jupiter, so you could have that in your chart, or it could be that you're pretty wasteful or reckless with your money and your financial security, by which, yes, if you have a difficult aspect Jupiter, you might be. But even if you do have difficulty when it comes to material items or reckless spending and things like that, well, it's usually not long until you do then gain more for yourself. It's just as if you have this guardian angel watching over you, saving you just at the nip of time, just like that moment of, oh my gosh, this financial difficulty or this financial matter is happening, but it's like the universe just steps in and fills up your cup again, or something happens that results in you then being provided for again. And then again, it could be a matter of you being this more type of spiritual person who prays. You may really pray for more finances, or you may pray for a better life, or you may pray for a physical security that is just so much more meaningful to you. You just might have this faith in the universe where you trust that you are going to be provided for. Now, it could even be here that you're the type of person who seeks after financial freedom. Maybe you don't want to be part of the rat race, but yet you also have the tendency of spending your finances quickly, and so you might find it rather difficult to actually save and budget and manage your finances. See, whenever you were growing up, even if it was that the cash flow was continuously coming in, the cash flow might also have been distributed out just as quickly. Maybe it's that your financial providers, right, growing up, maybe they would just go out and just blow their money, or they would just go on this shopping spree, this spending spree. Or maybe there was a financial situation by which resulted in you having to actually move location. Maybe you actually had to move destination. Could possibly be a result of a possible divorce between your parents. So if you have Aquarius ruling your 4th house, or you have Aries or Libra ruling your 4th house, this may resonate with you. But still, even if it wasn't a divorce, it could have just been that the financial providers or provider was just a bit careless. Maybe they were just a bit unwise, a bit reckless with their own money. Maybe it's just that your financial provider was a bit of a drunk. Maybe they were a bit of an alcoholic, or maybe they gambled a lot. Either way though, okay, this could have resulted in you either feeling inspired to really get out, you know, to flee the nest, so to speak, and to sort of create a life for yourself, or it could have resulted in you adopting similar spending habits. Now, of course, not all of you would have had drunk financial providers or divorced financial providers, but it could still be that there was a move, okay? There could have been a move in location. There could have been you moving from one form of financial security and stability to another. But it could have been this very same move that might have created within you a rather restless person who finds it difficult to settle in one place for too long. Perhaps you even come from a religious financial environment where money and resources were spent on these very things. Or maybe it's that your financial providers or your parents, they saved up for your university and tuition as they wanted you to really seek after higher knowledge and learning so that you could then be set up with plenty of financial security and material goods later on in life. Though still, with all of this information being said, when it comes to your self-worth, Sagittarius, you might actually base your self-worth upon obtaining as many possessions and resources as possible, because by doing so, you might feel so much happier and so much more full of joy. And this in itself is just something to be aware of, Sagittarius, because this type of attitude can actually turn pretty sour pretty quickly. It could just result in this hunger or this greed of only feeling good, only wanting to feel good all the time. But as you are seeking to feel good all the time, as you are searching to be happy, as you're wanting to just reach this really optimistic, like really great feeling in your life, you might actually just fool yourself from experiencing joy and happiness in the moment with what you already have. But what use is it to you if you're continuously striving for more whilst you don't cherish the very fruits of your labor right now? You'll never be able to relax and just feel content with what you already have. And the moment that a potential financial difficulty hits, you might run away from all responsibilities because it no longer lives up to your ideals. Now, of course, being financially secure and having enough money to survive can bring us a lot of comfort and satisfaction. But if it is that your own happiness just depends on these things, Sagittarius, then it might be a good idea for you to set yourself free from such beliefs. Then again, maybe you just really need to ask yourself, Sagittarius, what does it mean to be happy? I mean, what is it that makes you happy? What does happiness mean to you? What are the things that make you feel joyful in life? And what do the materials and possessions that you own, what do they mean to you? Do you feel satisfied and content right now in your life? And if not, why? Then again, it might be that you are the type of Sagittarius who is just ready to get up and go at any moment. So it could be that you get cold feet, or that you just jump from one place to the next, as you might find it really difficult to just settle for too long. Maybe you jump from one job to the next, or one source of income to the next, where you just can have this really explorative nature. So when it comes to how you earn money, you may just continuously be adjusting and reassessing things. It could also be here that your self-worth is connected with how free you are, Sagittarius. So maybe it's just really important to you to feel free and to have space to really roam and explore. You might also be that type of Sagittarius, for example, whose self-worth has no limits. So it could be an attitude of, well, I'll try anything once, you know? Or it could be that you're really adventurous when it comes to your self-worth. So you're willing to push past boundaries and try things that are just out of your comfort zone. For example, when it comes to your own style, when it comes to your own fashion, you might wear clothing that you never would have thought that you would have worn before, or maybe it's that you wear clothes that really enhance your wild side. Though still, when it does come to your personal freedom, Sagittarius, you just might value your personal freedom a lot. However, you might value your personal freedom so much so that you can become fearful in your relationships or within the material world. For example, you might withhold showing others deeper layers of yourself out of fear of commitment. Or you might go into a job knowing full well that you have not one single intention of staying for a long period of time. So Sagittarius, this might make you the perfect candidate for being someone who is unavailable. But what you actually might end up doing, Sagittarius, is you might end up limiting yourself from discovering the power found within a genuine partnership or working life that can really make you feel fulfilled and prosperous. Now, of course, I'm not over here trying to tell you how to live your life, Sagittarius. I mean, at the end of the day, it's completely up to you what you do with your life, and if you want to be a wandering nomad for the rest of your days, then that's your choice. But it is still this same freedom attitude that can result in careless physical or financial security decisions. For example, Sagittarius, maybe you have one foot in the door and one foot out of the door when it comes to a particular relationship. And this right here can actually create indecision, and it can result in quite fickle behavior on your part. And so due to these reasons, it could potentially result in misunderstandings and disagreements, especially if the other person is very much sure about you, further possibly resulting in unfulfilling relationships. If this experience results in heartbreak, if it results in you feeling hurt or others being hurt because of this inconsistency on your part or the other person's part, well, this in turn can of course impact your self-worth. And this in itself can actually then further result in you on this endless, continuous search to find the one. So with that in mind, Sagittarius, this is why it's really important for you to assess your own belief systems when it comes to your self-worth. So what qualities about yourself do you value and deem as worthy? What are the boundaries and limits that you can set within your own relationships? Do you believe that you can be in a long-term or committed relationship? Or is it that you believe, for example, that your relationship with God is so much more important? And also, what are your philosophical beliefs when it comes to your self-worth? So is there a particular philosophy by which you live by? And if there is a particular philosophy by which you live by when it comes to your own self-worth and your own self-value, how do you then act on that philosophy? So rather than preaching it, rather than saying you're going to do it or you're going to live by it, to actually do it, to properly live that truth, to embody that truth by taking action upon being that truth. And it's also about establishing a value system that makes you feel focused on your vision. Hopefully that vision is a vision that empowers you and helps you focus on gaining the financial success that you seek. And hopefully it's also a vision that enables trust and abundance within the physical world and within your relationships as well. And also hopefully it's a vision that really just inspires other people, because this is the thing, this is part of your gift, Sagittarius, is that you have the gift of inspiring others to believe in themselves and to understand and appreciate that they have a meaning in their lives and that they are here for a reason. But this is also about you, Sagittarius, addressing your own meaning by really freeing yourself from any limiting beliefs that you think are freeing, which actually just end up fencing you in even more. So, Sagittarius, are you willing to take a leap of faith? And are you willing to understand that committing to something can be just as freeing as running away? Okay then, Cosmic Warriors, so that concludes the self-worth of Venus in Sagittarius / Sagittarius ruling the second house. Now, if you do happen to have any of these placements, I would like to hear from you, because there's not really a lot of information out there when it comes to self-worth in astrology. So yeah, let us know in the comment section your own experiences if you have these placements. Thank you so much for watching, thank you for subscribing, and of course if you would like to see more videos from myself and you have not yet subscribed, then go right ahead and click the subscribe button, and I will be back with another video very, very soon. Bye!